On today's episode, we are going to take a look at 3 stocks that ARK purchased this week, and they're all hitting different markets. The first company we're going to take a look at is Vuzix. This is a smart glasses solutions company. It is a play in the augmented reality world. We're also going to take a look at Etsy in the e-commerce world, and we're also going to take a look at Zillow Group, one disrupting the real estate. We're going to take a look at fundamentals. We're also going to take a look at some technicals and also some valuation metrics for all these companies. So let's get started. All right, so the first company we are going to take a look at is Vuzix. This is a smart glasses solution, and it is a play in the augmented reality. Their solutions right now are used all over, from example manufacturing solutions, field services and remote assistance, warehouse solutions, even the telemedicine world right now. Vuzix is traded under the Nasdaq as ticker VUZI. It's currently traded at $18.73. Today the stock barely moved. It was down about 0.7%, but if we take a look from its 52-week high, the stock has pulled back a nice amount. It's down about 38.73%, and it currently has a market cap of $1.18 billion. Next, let's take a look at future growth. It is expected to grow its revenue 40.9% on average for the next 3 to 5 years, right? This is a nice hyper growth stock. Unfortunately, though, this is probably one I would consider a speculative play right now because the company is not profitable and it's not even positive in cash flow from operations. The only real thing it has right now, in my opinion, is just the market it's in. This augmented reality smart glasses is definitely a strong market to be in and one I can see a future. If we take a look at the balance sheet for a company like this in a speculative play, I want it to be super strong, and that's the case. They have about $132 million in cash and short-term investments, and at the moment they have no debt to their name. Now, if we take a look at historical growth in the past 3 quarters, this company has grown its revenue by over 100% compared to same time last year. Just in the most recent quarter, which was the one that ended on March 31st for 2021, grew 155%. In their most recent earnings, Vuzix reported that smart glasses sales increased dramatically compared to previous years, mainly driven by customers continuing to place larger orders and more frequent orders for their smart glasses. That's what you like to hear. Vuzix did mention that their balance sheet is looking super strong, just like we looked at it in a few seconds ago, and this strong balance sheet is going to help them fund future project growth, product development, and also make strategic initiatives to grow their overall market. Management also gave an outlook in the overall market for Vuzix. They say as global economies are waking up, it's also waking up certain products that they had that were kind of dormant during the whole COVID situation. At the same time, they also continue to see acceleration of their businesses across healthcare, manufacturing, and field services. All right, so now if we take a look at technicals, I just want to make sure the stock is not overextended. But before we take a look at technical, guys, if I'm providing some form of value, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. It really does help a lot with the channel. And let me know in the comments below, are you bullish or bearish on Vuzix or any of these companies at the moment? At the price levels it's at right now, I see a bit of a stretch, but not something crazy. At this levels is someplace, if I was to enter Vuzix, it would be a small position. All right, so now if we take a look at price to sales valuation, I do believe for this company, which is not profitable or not even positive in cash flow from operations, forward price to sales ratio is probably one of the better metrics to look at. Right now we can see sitting at 29.77, pretty much 30, and it's sitting a lot lower than its peak, but on average is still much higher than where it normally was sitting at. At the same time, Vuzix, this is a market that is booming right now and is growing dramatically, so maybe that is the reason for this overextension in valuation. All right, so the second company we are going to take a look at, it's Etsy. But before we do that, guys, let's take a quick listen to today's sponsor. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You guys know I love finding new investing tools and resources to help me scout out new growth stocks. And right now I have a discount for one of my favorite services the Fool offers. Through the Motley Fool Stock Advisor services, you get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor's average stock picks have done amazing returns returns. If growing your money is something you'd like to do more of this year, you can visit fool.com/Jose Najarro or click on the link below for access to my special offer and decide if the stock advisor is right for you. Thanks again to the Motley Fool, and now onto today's video. Alright, so for those that are not familiar with Etsy, this is an online marketplace for pretty much customizable or unique solutions or products that you might want. So Etsy is traded under the NASDAQ as ticker ETSY. For the day, it was down about 1%, but from its 52-week high, the stock has definitely seen quite a correction. It is down about 32.9% and is currently sitting at a market cap of $20.87 billion. Future growth, this company is expected to grow its revenue 21.1% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. What I'm liking about Etsy is they have strong growth. They also are profitable in earnings, and they are positive in cash flow from operations when taking a look at trailing 12 months. They also have a decent balance sheet. They have about $1.7 billion in cash and about $1.3 billion in debt. So they are net cash positive. So that's a good thing. And because they are profitable, I wouldn't even have minded if they were a bit leveraged, but they're not. So I'm really liking the fundamentals of Etsy. If we take a look at this company's historical growth, for the past 4 quarters, this company has grown revenue by over 100%. The most recent quarter grew 141. Another monster. Next, if we take a look at trailing 12 months gross margins and profit margins, they seem to be improving over time. You can see a nice uptick in gross margins, and you can also see a nice uptick in profit margins. Remember, those are trailing 12 months numbers. Not only are their gross margins and profit margins improving, but their operating cash flow margins are also improving. Taking a look at trailing 12 months, they keep almost 39% of their overall revenue. This is impressive. They did give guidance for the upcoming quarter 2 of 2021 guidance. They expect about 15 to 25% revenue growth. So this is slowing down. COVID was definitely a big helper, but I'm definitely interested to see this upcoming earnings. I'm not sure why. Seeing how they have grown in the past few quarters, I'm gonna expect that they are going to beat this guidance. Etsy on June 2nd did announce that they are acquiring a global fashion resale marketplace called Depop, and this to me was a pretty interesting acquisition for sure. They're expected to buy this in $1.6 billion, primarily of cash. So this is definitely going to build up a nice debt position for this company, in my opinion. But again, remember, they are profitable and they are positive in cash flow from operations. The reason they mentioned that they are purchasing this company is to extend Etsy's market opportunity into the high frequency apparel sector, specifically in the fast growing resale space. Depop is also going to deepen their reach with Gen Z consumers. So they're going to be able to pull those customers into Etsy as well. And they also mentioned that Depop is in early stages, so they're going to be able to use what they learned on Etsy and kind of develop Depop to be a stronger company. If we take a look at technicals, Etsy is looking a little bit better in my opinion. The Vuzix is a little bit less overextended. So if I wanted to open up a position in Etsy right now, it would be more like a medium-sized position, just because it has definitely pulled back. Obviously, the stock can pull back even more, but I do believe a good portion of the risk has been eliminated. Now, since Etsy is one that is profitable and it is positive in cash flow from operations, I wanted to take a look at EV to EBITDA metric forward ratio, and right now it's sitting at about 31.61. Definitely sitting lower than its peak, and right now it's sitting at levels first seen in late August, early August, for example, late summer of 2020. So the last company we are going to take a look at is Zillow. So Zillow is a place where you're buying, selling, or renting a home. They can help you, right? They also do other stuff within those processes like home loans and mortgages and so much more. So Zillow right now is traded under the NASDAQ as ticker CG. It was pretty much flat for the day and is currently sitting at $110. If we take a look at its 52-week high, the stock has definitely seen a crazy pullback. It's down about 45.8%, and it currently has a market cap of $27 billion. If we take a look at future growth, this company is expected to grow 32.8% on the average for the next 2 to 5 years. So this is a hyper growth stock. If we take a look at trailing 12 months, the company is profitable and it is positive in cash flow from operations. Not by much, but it is at least there. If we take a look at their balance sheet looks pretty strong. They have about $4.7 billion in cash and $2.3 billion in debt. This is the balance sheet I want to look at, right? One that is not leveraged at all. Now, if we take a look at historical revenue growth, COVID has definitely impacted this company a bit. They saw a small decrease in the revenue in previous quarters, but things seem to be picking back up right now. In their most recent quarter, they did grow about 8.23%. If we take a look at gross margins and profit margins in trailing 12 months, you can see they are improving over time. Zillow also has some positive operating cash flow margins like we saw in their trailing 12 months. They're sitting at about 10.6% right now. Zillow is another one I wanted to look at EV to EBITDA ratio, and we can see right now sitting at 45.75, a lot lower than its peak. It's crazy how high it was in around late of 2020, but the numbers are looking a little bit better. We can see these are numbers last seen in the end of summer of 2020, around September. Now, if we take a quick look at technicals, this is looking very similar like Etsy. It's not too overextended. So if I wanted to open up a position right now, it would be more of a medium-sized position. Just because I do believe a good portion of the risk has been eliminated, but remember, at the same time, short-term volatility can continue to happen and this can continue to pull down. Alright, so now my overall thoughts on all three companies. First, I think my favorite in form of market-wise would be Vuzix. I think that AR smart glasses is a pretty cool market, but unfortunately that's more of a speculative play. If it was to ever enter my portfolio, it would be more of a tier 3. I can see why ARK is buying all three of these companies. They're all in great markets and growing at great levels. Alright, so now even though I like Vuzix market better, I do like Etsy and Zillow's fundamentals a bit better. They are growing at strong levels and they do have strong fundamentals. So if they were to ever open my portfolio, they would be about a tier 2 position size. I don't think they would ever make it as a tier 1. Between the two, I do believe I like Etsy a little bit more than Zillow. So let me know in the comments below, guys. How did you guys like these three stocks? Are you thinking about purchasing any of them? Take care, have a good night, and see you next time.